What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Player ratings is back. Champions League semi-final first leg. We have lost 1-0 to Ajax at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What can you make out of that game, Sim?
Yeah, I mean, it was a disappointing day. You know, we had so much hope going into this semi-final in front of our home fans that we're going to put on a big performance, and it kind of fell flat, especially from the beginning. But there is hope going into the second leg that we can turn this around. I really believe that. Looking at the 90 minutes overall, I think from around 30 minutes onwards, we dominated the game. So I know we didn't create too many chances, but I think there are positives to take from this game, and I think we can take those positives into the away leg.
Yeah, I mean, the media seems to be branding this game a complete whitewash for Ajax, but that wasn't the case at all. I think 30 minutes, that was the case. I thought they were absolutely sensational, wiped the floor with us. But when we changed the system, when Matunga went off, when Sissoko, and when we added that bully in the centre of midfield, they didn't really want it. Mm-hmm. And I think if we could add Son to the mix in that, then I think we've got a big chance to get to that final next week.
Completely agree. Well, let's get into the ratings. All right, Hugo Lloris, we gave him a 7. I don't think there were actually too many shots on target at the end of the day from Ajax, but he made a very crucial save from Van der Beek at 1-0, which could have easily, if that goes 2-0, then we're I think that's curtains for us. I think he had a decent display at the end of the day.
Completely beaten when they hit the post in the second half.
Yeah, he was easily beaten for the goal as well. He couldn't do anything about that. But I think his kicking, as always, it was a down point. But it was, I think, he couldn't do much more. I think he led the team quite well, and there were, as I said, not too many shots on target, but a crucial save kept us in the tie.
Yeah. Moving on to Kieran Trippier, we gave him a 3. I thought another woeful display from Trippier, really, keeping the player on side for their goal. First of all, I think his outlet on the right hand side was awful. You're just calling for someone to get a good ball in the box with Llorente in there. And, Trippier, how many times?
And I thought he really struggled against Neres as well. He nearly cost us a second goal in the second half with a sloppy pass that fell to an Ajax player that luckily we mopped up. The only positive I'd say from Trippier is that his set pieces were not bad. We created a couple of chances from them. Llorente had a good chance, and Toyo had a good chance as well. So
those were probably our best chances on goal as well, to be honest.
Probably overall our best chances were from set pieces, but in open play he was just woeful. And I've got to be honest. I mean, he's had a poor season, and again he lost possession more than any other player. I think it was 28 times I read that he lost possession. He was just playing aimless pass after aimless pass. Granted, it wasn't the easiest game for anyone out there, especially with all our attacking players out injured, but you've got to be doing better than that. And with someone like Llorente in the box, he just needs some sort of quality delivery, and Trippier should be Trippier's forte, and he just struggled to deliver it.
If you're Pochettino, do you go and play Foyth at right back in the second leg, or do you stick with Trippier?
I mean, Foyth played well when he came on, didn't he? You got to give Foyth credit as well. I thought he gave a bit more energy. He was actually not scared to take people on, which Trippier seems to do. Whenever anyone comes towards Trippier, he just seems to back out. It's like, I'm not going to touch that. He's like, I'm just going to pass it back. But Foyth seems to have the confidence to take people on.
He's impressed me every time he's played at right back.
Yes, fair. So I don't know. He's got a decision to make.
And defensively, he's good as well.
Yeah, obviously, because he's centre back, and he's got a decision to make. Look. Part of me thinks
he's got more pace as well than Trippier. Yeah, much more pace.
Part of me thinks that he's going to go Trippier anyway, just because we need that goal, and we're more likely to get a goal with Trippier on the pitch. But
are you though?
I don't know.
I don't think you are.
Maybe, probably. I don't know.
The last time Trippier's were bloody good.
I know, but have we seen enough of Foyth to say he's better attacking fullback than Trippier? I'm not sure just yet.
Well, he's had 3 competent performances now there. Well, minutes here, minutes there, but he started one of them, didn't he?
I agree. It's a decision. You got a decision to make. I don't know what he's going to do. Trippier, he's undoing all the good work that he did in the first leg at Man City, because he was absolutely brilliant in that game. And second leg he was woeful. Really cost us a couple of goals and could have been more. And the first leg here, he cost us a goal, and it's a shame. I don't like digging him out, because I do think there's a player in there, but I just think he's just been so bad this season, and he's admitted it. He knows he's been bad, and he's just and the thing is, he did exactly the things he said that he's been doing wrong. He did all of those things this game. So if you know what you're doing wrong, well, I don't know how you can keep making the same mistakes. But
anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Danny Rose, we gave him an 8.
Yeah, some positive news.
Yeah, exactly. On the positive side, he was another great display. Again, after the game, all the fan cams were saying, I swear for the past 3 or 4 games, everyone's just been saying Danny Rose, man of the match. Another really good display. I think he was the only player in that first half an hour who actually stood up and gave some passion and was up for the fight and was putting in some tackles.
How many last-ditch challenges right at the end? You know, he saved about 2 goals by himself in that first half.
Yeah, I'm saying, exactly. There was a period in that first half where they were playing us off the park, but he was the only one really just flying in with the challenges and really putting up a fight.
Literally, in that half an hour, everyone was ball watching except for Danny Rose.
Yeah.
Danny Rose was getting stuck in.
And he was getting in decent forward positions as well. Granted, his delivery was suspect again, which is something it's been suspect all season, to be honest. He hasn't been great. Something he has to work on. But at least he's asking questions of the Ajax defence. You know, he gave them things to think about. He did nearly cost us a goal in the second half when they hit the post. It did come from a Danny Rose mistake.
Could be arguments that he was to fault for our goal, for the first goal.
Yeah, and he did let Van den Beek. He was part of the move he let Van den Beek go.
I don't think there's any excuses for a ball to get through there.
You know what? Especially when there's 3 centre backs and Rose there.
There's no excuses whatsoever. And Rose is the one closest to the ball when it goes through.
Yeah, look, he Trips played him onside. Danny Rose let him go, and there are 3 centre backs there as well who the ball should not be going through. Rose definitely takes some responsibility for that, but I think on the night he was probably our best defender, so you can't criticise him too much. I thought a really good display from him overall, but he did get very tired at the end, which nearly cost us a goal. But he did when he went off. But yeah.
All right, moving on to Jan Matunga, we gave him a 6. He only played about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, but he went off with concussion. He went off, came back on.
That was a bit of a farce. It was really, the whole thing was ridiculous. Why he came back on, I don't know. They should have just taken him off straight away. Clearly, he wasn't fit to play. So I don't know why they risked him, and the fact that he just immediately
and they make so much of these things with the head injuries, just get him off the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually thought that move was a bit of a blessing in disguise for us. I said it straight away because we were calling out for that extra man in midfield pretty much for that first half an hour. But in terms of his performance, there's not too much of note. Pretty much ball watching for half an hour.
Yeah, he was his side as well when the goal came in. One thing that really disappointed me, and I think Rose as well, is when the ball went through to Van den Beek. Him and Rose just seemed to give up, as if to say, "All right, they're 1-0 up. That's it." It's like, I know he's the guy's got through. He's got all the time in the world to slot the ball home. At least track back and put a challenge in. If he misses it, maybe you can get the rebound. But I just did not like the resignation I saw from them in that first move. That really annoyed me, and it's not something we're used to seeing from those defenders. And to see that in a Champions League semi-final is really disappointing. I'm not saying it would have made a difference. He probably still would have scored even if they do track back, but just the fact that they're so resigned, the fact they were so resigned, just like, all right, let's just stop and give him a goal and let's just restart. It's like, all right, just see if maybe he'll miss or something. You know what I mean? It just really annoyed me. And he was one of the players.
Imagine Lloris gets a save on that and it comes out.
Exactly, and then he's just going to slot home the rebound. You know what I mean? That really, really annoyed me. But Jan, he went off after 35 minutes. It was a blessing in disguise. Not that he got injured, just the change of system helped. Just the change of system helped us.
He should be fine for the second leg.
Just very disappointing that they couldn't diagnose that he should have come off straight away. But anyway, when we move on to Toby Alderweireld, I also gave him a 6. Good display most of the time, but a few moments he was getting out-muscled by Tadic, which should not be happening from a defender of Toby's standard. Though, having said that, there was a few moments as well he nipped in ahead of Tadic and won the ball off him, which was also positive. But he should never be being out-muscled by a player like Tadic. That shouldn't be happening, which impressed me from Tadic. But Toby should be out-muscling every time, and he did also nearly cost us a goal when Neres hit the post. It was Rose who gave the ball away. Then Toby had a moment and he could have just kicked the ball out of play. He decided to pass it. It was intercepted, and they went on to hit the post, which nearly cost us. But overall, I think it was a decent display from him. I think defensively he was most of the time commanding, and I think in the second half when we were on top of them, he was kind of at the back there marshalling things. He was kind of controlling where everyone was.
Yeah.
And I thought it was decent. He got a few decent balls up to Llorente, who was able to get flicks on, but hopefully he'll be together in a back four with Jan next week, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I was about to pick up on that. It was like, as the game grew on and we grew into the game, there was Toby that was very influential in that, and he was kind of literally commanding everything from the back, spraying passes, keeping everything tight. He was literally the captain on the field for the last hour on the pitch, wasn't he?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, moving on to Davinson Sanchez, we gave him a 5. In my opinion, the worst defender on the night. For me...
Well, we gave Trips a 3.
I meant the back 3.
Okay, yeah.
From the back 3, the worst defender on the night. I thought he's just, for a guy of his size, he's just too weak. He gets muscled off the ball way too often. Moment in the second half where he plays like a complete dreadful pass to Alderweireld, and another day that could be another goal and tie over, really. But he did defend well at times, but all in all, I don't think it was a good display for him.
Yeah, I mean, he had quite a few shaky moments in this game. I thought once we moved to a back 4, he had that moment when he passed it back to Toby, which nearly cost us. But I thought he was okay, him and Toby together. I thought they performed pretty well. I think he defended fairly well overall. But I think the system in the second half meant that he was defending a lot more one-on-one than he was in the first half, and it seemed to suit him for some reason. But
I felt Ajax were trying to target him, especially in the first half.
In the first half, and it kind of worked because they got through a couple of times. But he wasn't too great, wasn't too bad either. Wasn't a terrible performance, but at the highest level, he's still got a lot to learn. Definitely.
Well, he's a young player. He's learning a lot, but right at this moment in time, I don't think he's just there yet.
All right, Victor Wanyama, we gave him a 4. Really badly struggled, I felt, in this game. He
was chasing shadows.
Yeah, there were signs in the past few games he was getting back to his best, but if we needed any more evidence that he's still not at his best, it was definitely yesterday. He really got overrun, and not only did he get overrun, whenever he had the ball, whenever he was pressed, he just completely shat the bed, I felt. He lost the ball so many times, and the fact he had a passing accuracy of 55%. Just shows to you how poor his passing was and how poor he was in possession. And he's never been a player who has, passing's never been his strong point of his game. And the fact that on the ball he was giving the ball away a lot, and then off the ball, they were just passing it around him. Especially before Sissoko came on, was a real shame.
It felt like a dad trying to play football with his younger son's friends. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like one of those where he was literally just chasing shadows throughout that midfield, and Ajax were just literally just pinging around him like he wasn't there, pretty much.
Yeah, he struggled big time. He's, I think physically he just didn't. For some reason, he just got a lot of times he wasn't able to outmuscle the Ajax players as well. It was just a really poor performance.
There were a few moments where he won the ball back in the middle of the park, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, but hopefully, if he starts with Sissoko next to him, I think that can give the necessary energy because it was pretty much him, Dele and Eriksen, in the centre. He's going to be doing the majority of the legwork in that 3, and I don't know if he's up to it to play that role. But if he plays alongside someone like Sissoko, I think he did improve once Sissoko came on, and I think it must have helped him having that energy next to him that he doesn't have to do all the legwork in midfield. So that's something to think about for Pochettino.
All right, moving on to Dele, we gave him a 5. Another disappointing display for me. I thought he's just too slow and looks a bit too lethargic, and he's just waiting for that moments of magic. He needs to get involved in the game a bit more.
Yeah.
I thought
bit of an improvement in the second half.
Yeah, I thought in the first half he was literally just watching the game go by him. But as he moved to the top of that diamond, I thought he improved a lot. Actually, he was having chances, could have slotted one away, but wasn't to be. I think. Yeah, like you said, he did improve as the game went on, but ultimately it wasn't a good display.
Yeah, I mean, it was just...
He needs to take command in a game.
Yeah, I think it did not suit him being in that 3 with Wanyama and Eriksen when he, out of the 3, he's going to be expected to be that number 8, backwards and forwards play, tracking back more than someone like Eriksen, and he struggled big time. He was a real passenger in that first half. It really frustrated me, actually, how much of a passenger he was, because it's a Champions League semi-final, and, I don't really care what role you're playing. We're a collective, and the fact that he just let this game pass him by really frustrated me.
And we bang on about him being a big game player as well.
And he just didn't turn up. That's the fact. However, second half, once the burden got taken away from him from Sissoko, who was giving more of the legs, then Ali started to become alive a bit more. He started to get more spaces in around the box. And he got a couple of shots off. Didn't really test the keeper, but at least there were a few chances that could have gone in if they were on target, if there were decent strikes. But all in all, was another disappointing display by Ali. And if you think about it, ever since he scored 18 Premier League goals at the end of the 16-17 season, and then last season he wasn't at his best. This season he's been interrupted by injury, so it's been 2 years now since we've seen Ali really at his top level. So so it's something to think about.
I feel for Ali a bit this season because of the injuries we've had. He has been put out of position more often than not. So
I don't think he's been bad. I wouldn't say he's been bad in the past few years. I just think he hasn't hit the heights that he did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but like I said, it's been difficult for him because he's constantly being played out of position. How many times has he played in his natural position this season? More or less, he's playing deep because of the injuries.
You think about it, how many times we played Son, Dele, Eriksen, and Kane together? I think it's about 5 times. Not many times.
There you go. That's a big part of this season. So.
And then you compare that to someone like Liverpool. And Mane, Salah, and Firmino have played every game bar 4.
Yeah.
So it just shows the difference in what we're dealing with this season.
I feel for Dele because he's carrying a lot of criticism at the moment, and I don't think it's just.
I actually think I don't know about that. I think since he came back from injury, he's been really good. I've banged on about how impressed I've been with him.
I'm hearing people saying he's rubbish at the moment.
I thought yesterday he was rubbish.
He was rubbish, but like I said, it's hard for him to maintain a high level of performance if you're playing out of position every week.
I don't think he has been playing out of position.
His favourite position is behind the striker. Like when you saw yesterday when he moved up to that number 10 role just behind the striker, he came into life. He was much better than he was in the first half.
That's his best role, but it doesn't mean he can't play the other role. And he should be able to play the other role.
I agree, but if you're talking about seeing the best of Dele Alli, that's where you're going to see it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I do agree that's his best role. But I think, when he was at his best, he was playing kind of up front with Kane. He's
a second striker, not really.
The thing is, but now Son's playing that role. So are we ever going to see Dele in that position again? He has to adapt. So it's difficult. It's a difficult one. I don't know.
Yeah, but the role he's being asked to play in the centre mid is a completely different role to a number 10 or a centre striker.
Agreed. But it doesn't mean he can't put in a better performance than he did yesterday.
Fair point.
Moving on to Christian Eriksen, we also gave him a 5. I would say I was a bit underwhelmed by Eriksen yesterday. I think creatively I expect more from him, especially in such a big game in the Champions League semi-final. Especially as well, big players missing like Son and Kane. Really expect someone like Eriksen to step up. And to be fair to Eriksen, not yesterday, but in previous moments when Kane has been out, he has stepped up and started, sharing the scoring burden when that's happened. But it did not happen yesterday. From that point of view, I felt like he was less of a passenger than someone like Dele was in the first half, and I feel like it's more Dele's game to be more physical than it is Eriksen. So that's why I don't get on his back as much when he's less physical in these kind of games. But we needed him to really step up and be especially in that first half an hour. He was getting played around. Him, Dele and Wanyama all getting played around, and it was really hard to watch. And it was frustrating. I thought he also improved a bit in the second half, but I expect more from him.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, with Kane and Son out, we needed Dele, and it was really important for Dele and Eriksen to step up yesterday because we were a bit toothless going forward, and they were probably a bit to do with it. If you have an on-form Dele and an on-form Eriksen yesterday, it could have been a different story.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think Eriksen's. I thought Dele was a bit better than Eriksen yesterday. I thought Eriksen was completely anonymous. I can't remember anything.
No, I thought he was better. I thought he was better than Dele just about.
I know you did.
Yeah, I thought it was. Well, to be honest, you could make an argument they were just as bad as each other. I don't think there's much in it, but I thought he was a bit less passive. I thought he was getting in and around the box as well.
He runs around a lot, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah, but you got to be doing that running. That's what Poch always says. You have to suffer and. I don't know. Look, he wasn't great. I take that point. I think they both weren't great, but I thought Eriksen was I put Eriksen a bit above Dele, but that's whatever. I mean, just here, exactly. Neither here or there.
All right, let's move on to Lucas Moura. We gave him a 5. I was actually a bit more impressed with. I know we gave him the same rating as Eriksen and Dele, but I was a bit more impressed with Lucas. He was getting on the ball. He was trying to beat a man. He was trying to make things happen in the second half, especially. It's just. What happens with Lucas Moura's end product? We talk about it every time. He was doing right things yesterday. It was just the end product was letting him down every time.
And I think you can play him up front with someone like a Kane or a Son. Well, I mean, even then he has struggled. But when he's paired up with someone like Llorente, when Lucas has kind of become the main striker in that partnership, he just didn't have it in him really to be that. And he just does not have that ruthless streak where if he gets a sight of goal, he'll take a shot and it will be an accurate finish into the far corner. It's not. I mean, I know against Huddersfield he scored that a great hat trick, which was fantastic. But we just haven't seen that nowhere near enough. And he had a few really bright moments where he's dribbling past 3 or 4 players, getting into the box, and you're thinking, oh wow, amazing dribbling. And we've said it all the time in the Premier League. There are very few players that are better at dribbling than Lucas Moura, but it's always when he gets into that decision making period, he just doesn't. He always seems to be. He's frustrating. That's the case. And one of the only times we got him behind the Ajax defence, he had a really good opportunity to square the ball, and he just went straight to the keeper. The keeper gobbled it up, and those opportunities really didn't come often enough for us. And it was just a shame that when they did come, they were wasted really. And I can't remember too many shots off he got, to be honest. And the link-up play with Llorente wasn't there much. He didn't get close enough to Llorente, I felt, most of the game. Llorente was very isolated a lot of the time. And another thing I keep saying about Lucas Moura is he doesn't run in behind. He likes the ball to feet. That's how he likes it. And
that's why this game was more suited to Son than it was
exactly,
to him, because Son loves it in behind, and Lucas just wants it to feet.
Yeah.
And having said that, though, I would have thought it benefited Lucas more if we played him the furthest man forward on the pitch.
So that's the problem. You play him the furthest forward, yeah, but he doesn't run in behind. He doesn't do those runs.
If he's the furthest man forward, he has to.
No, he doesn't. That's the thing. You think he has to? I thought
he has to.
You thought the position people who was playing yesterday, he should be running more in behind, because they played
so much space in behind.
There was so much space. There was a lot of space there, and I don't know why he doesn't. I don't know whether it's a tactic. I don't think it is. I think that's just how he is naturally. That's just the kind of play. Like, he likes the ball to feet, likes to come for the ball. And there was a lot of the times as well where he was looking for the ball to feet, and then he was getting bullied by Blind and Delight as well, or Delight, wherever you pronounce it. He was getting bullied by them, and he wasn't really showing enough for the ball. It was a frustrating performance from him, but it's so annoying because there's always those glimpses where you think this guy could be unbelievable, but you just got to work that consistency.
You also say that how frustrating he is, but on the flip side, he was our most dangerous threat from open play.
Yeah, because he's so good at dribbling. He's the only one willing to take someone on, and actually he was actually getting a bit of success. I agree with you, but he didn't get any shots off, did he? He did. Any time he tried to cross it was intercepted. Like his decision making in the final third has to improve. I think he's got all the qualities to be a great player. It's just a mentality thing.
All right.
And next up, lastly, Fernando Llorente. We gave him a 6. I felt for him yesterday. I thought whenever he was called into action, he did a fairly decent job. Not in terms of, for any sort of testing the keeper or anything. He had one real chance throughout the game, which was a header, which he really should have done better with. Apart from that, he was pretty much, his job was to kind of hold the ball up like 40 yards from goal and trying to make something happen. And to be fair to him, he did a fairly decent job of doing it, but no one was really he didn't get much help from the players around him, I felt, and it was a hard game for him.
Look, Llorente, he was a very hard task for him yesterday. The game wasn't suited to him really at all.
Yeah.
We weren't really playing to his strengths. Our crossing out wide wasn't going to him whatsoever. We had such poor delivery into the box. If Fernando Llorente is going to do well, you need to have good delivery into the box. But having said that, he was winning a lot of flick-ons, a lot of trying to make stuff happen. He had that amazing thing where he flicked it over a player and controlled it past him. If that goes in, that's like goal of the Champions League century.
That would have been one of the best goals.
So a lot of people dig him out constantly, but
even my grandpa.
Even grandpa last night. But I thought he was one of our better players.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I just felt for him. Look, he wasn't amazing, but it was just the game wasn't his type of game, and I thought for the job
he done well under the circumstances.
Exactly, under the circumstances, I don't think he could have done too much more with what he was given, and so I don't think he'll start the second leg. I wouldn't. I think that's suited him. I think he's more of a plan B. If we're looking for a goal, 20 minutes to go, no one better than Llorente to come on. So that's more his role. I
was saying that yesterday before the game to someone. I was saying that Llorente should be starting on the bench. We should be playing 4 at the back, and Lucas should be the furthest man forward, and then you have an option, plan B, to bring Llorente on.
Well, I think. I don't think that would have worked either. Because who are we going to play? If you drop Llorente and you're dropping Llorente and a defender, then what? You're bringing Skip in. You're bringing who? You bring in?
Why not?
I don't know. He clearly feels Skip's not ready. I don't know.
Yeah. Dyer.
Maybe you could bring Dyer in, but then I don't know. It's a difficult one. Because then you bring in Sissoko and Dyer.
At least
for
you have
Llorente.
an option.
Yeah, we didn't have any options going forward at the end of the day on the bench. But let's talk about one sub who did come on after half an hour, and that was Moussa Sissoko, and we gave him a 9. he was my man of the match. I thought he was absolutely outstanding when he came on. He was really heading. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. Best player on the pitch when he came on.
He was. He absolutely bullied them. The Ajax players did not want anything to do with him when he came on a pitch.
I mean, before he came on, like, it was a playground for people like De Jong. He was having the time of his life. He was here, there, everywhere. Like, no one was troubling him. And then all of a sudden, this beast comes on. He doesn't know what's hit him. He completely got overrun. He got completely bullied. How many times did we see Sissoko twist and turn out of a challenge? And him compared to when Wanyama was being pressed and he just shat the bed. Sissoko was completely the opposite. He was like, "Come, press me. Let's see what you can do." And they tried to get the ball off him. He was like, "I'm just going to go this way, I'm going to go that way, I'm going to out-muscle you, I'm going to charge forward." He was the only one, really, out of all our players to really have that penetration runs that have been so good for us this season. And he, like, in this kind of game, he really did show up. And considering he clearly wasn't 100% because he didn't start the game, such an impressive performance. And I really think he could be the key in that second leg.
Exactly, he's the sole reason why I've got so much hope. Him and Son, to be honest, there's two sole reasons why I've got so much hope going into the second leg. Lasse Schöne goes after the game that as soon as Sissoko came on, Spurs had so much more physicality and dominance in the centre park. They didn't like it, they didn't want it. And if we go like that to Amsterdam in the second leg with Sissoko playing like that and Son running in behind, I think we've got so much chance to go to that final.
Exactly, he really was everywhere, and I think he helped Wanyama a lot in that centre as well, with just helping with his energy and just helping mopping up the midfield and
that shot in the first half.
God, if that would have gone in, that would be unbelievable. But
what a drive that was!
Yeah, it was a decent effort. It was quite a bit.
Probably his best shot he's ever taken for Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was absolutely fantastic, and I can't say enough how important he's been for us this season, how impressive this turnaround has been for him again. I think he's becoming one of the. He's showing that he has the quality to be one of the not in terms of technically one of the best, but definitely one of the most effective midfielders in the league.
100%.
Which is
the
incredible.
rise of Moussa Sissoko.
Is that continuing in the Champions League semi-final? He's putting in these kind of performances.
All right, moving on. Lastly to Pochettino, we gave him a 5. Yeah. I felt kind of wrong selection for me, wrong system we played.
Yeah,
and that proved itself when he was forced into making a change when Matunga went off. I thought he was kind of forced into reverting back into that 4 at the back. You might have other ideas.
No, look, he was forced to make a change. He wasn't forced to go forward. He wasn't forced to go forward back. He could have. I'm saying with Sissoko, considering he started on the bench and he wasn't 100% fit, it could have been a very easy decision to say, all right, we'll wait to bring Sissoko on. We'll just bring on Voigt. We'll keep the same formation, and we'll just see out to half time. We'll see out to
it's not a managerial masterclass. You can see we were crying out for that player in the centre.
I'm not saying it's a masterclass. I'm just saying he made the right decision and it helped us. And he could have easily brought on Voigt and just kept and not seen it, but at least he saw it and he rectified it, even if he was forced into a change, so credit there. But Pochettino admitted after the game he got it wrong. He did get it wrong in that first half. Whether it was a system error or whether it was a lack of motivation for the manager to get them up for the game, I think it was
system error.
It was more of a system error. However, the fact that can you blame that system for the goal? Like, they were the way they passed the ball, was sharp and they were overrunning us in midfield, but the lack of aggression, how passive we were, just us letting that game pass us by, the players have to take some responsibility for that.
Of course, Eriksen said exactly that in his post-match press conference.
We can blame the system, which I completely agree.
For the first 25 minutes, they were complete ball watching, and he included himself in that.
Yeah.
But how do they let that happen in a Champions League semi-final?
At home in a new stadium,
How do they let that happen?
That atmosphere was electric yesterday, going in before the game and everything. Yeah. Everything was on point. We all, everything was set up for us to have a really good performance, and to start the game that was so disappointing. Thankfully, we did kind of. We didn't save the situation, but at least we stopped it from getting worse, and we did put in a decent performance second half. Clearly, Poch had words with him.
I think we did save the situation.
You can't say we saved it because at the end of the day we still lost. But we stopped it from getting worse.
In the situation we're in, we were 1-0 down after 15 minutes, and they were completely battering us.
Yeah,
they could have been 4-0, 3-0, 4-3-0 up after that first 15-20 minutes.
Yeah,
literally, that's how bad they were battering us. So in that kind of sense,
that's
we're lucky to get out of it 1-0.
So I'm saying I wouldn't say we saved it, but I would say we definitely stopped it from getting worse, and we improved our performance. And I made this point after the game: the fact that we stopped them playing football considering how well they played in the first half an hour, just shows to me that we are very much capable of. We are so in this tie because we now know how to stop them from playing and how we can limit their chances. And if we can just get that quality up front, the tie is just there for us, I think. And look, it's not going to be easy. Ajax have clearly shown they're a great team, and they're obviously going to be favourites, having won the first leg. But the tie is far from over. 1-0 is only 1-0. I've seen this kind of thing turned around so many times, and they're beatable. I don't care what anyone says. I think that they can be beaten, and they lost at home to Madrid in the last
Madrid
16.
Side as well.
They lost at home to them. They drew to Juventus, a good Juventus team, to be fair, and they probably should have won that game as well. But they did draw. They haven't won a home leg yet.
They lost to a Madrid side at home, which we went to the Bernabeu and won 4-1.
Yeah, so they're beatable.
They concede goal after goal in the Eredivisie.
Yeah, then they've got
a cup final this weekend.
Yeah,
and that's at 5 o'clock on Sunday as well.
Exactly.
They've got so much space in behind, and with Sonny, it's going to be so vital. It's going to be a completely different game.
And we've now learned. I think Poch will have learned from that game.
Poch has admitted his mistakes. I think he's going to learn from his mistakes, and he's going to prove the right decision, and Moussa Sissoko is going to boss that in the midfield.
Exactly, I think
I'm going to Amsterdam, and I'm going with confidence.
Exactly. There's one thing like having been played off the park in the first leg and then saying, but we'll learn and taking it. But I think he learned in game how to combat the Ajax team,
and you could see it.
So
because they went from being completely dominant.
Exactly. Apparently the first half an hour, Ajax had 70% possession, and we ended the game with over 50% possession in our favour.
And all the stats were equal as well on the night, pretty much.
Yeah.
Shots on goal, shots on target, blah blah blah.
And at the end of the day, they didn't have too many shots on target. It was Van den Beek pretty much had both of them out there, and they did hit the post. They hit the post. They had 3 decent chances.
But as you said last night after the game, that when they hit the post could be the turning point.
That's why I think, it really could be, because at 2-0 it's game over, but at 1-0 it's far from over. Losing 1-0 at home just means you have to go away from home, and any win wins it. So you have to look at it as a football match as just have to win the game. Just with one win, we're 1 win away from the final. That's all it is.
Exactly.
And it's not. We don't have to win by 2 goals. We don't have to do this, that. We're just a win away from the final. So I do go into the second leg with confidence. We're going to learn from this first leg, and I'm not going to be too downbeat about it. It was disappointing on the night. I am disappointed that we didn't show up in front of our own fans, but I'm confident that we're gonna realise how important this competition is for the fans and for this team to really have a chance of silverware finally, and we can't just let it go pass us by.
Alright, and I'm just going to finish off by saying we defied the odds in the Nou Camp, we defied the odds in Manchester, and now we're going to go to Amsterdam and defy the odds yet again. And that's how we like it, being the underdog at Tottenham Hotspur.
Exactly, that's how we're better at being the underdog. And look, Ajax are going to, obviously, they haven't got to this stage by accident, so it's going to be tough. Of course. But we can do it. I really believe we can do it.
Alright, so we go down to the South Coast this weekend. We got Bournemouth away for the last away game of the season, and then a few days later we travel out to Amsterdam for the second leg of the Champions League semi-final.
Can't wait.
So check out for all our content this weekend and during the week, and as always,
come on you Spurs.